Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you're ever in a falling elevator, lie down flat on your back. And if your first instinct is to say no, you're supposed to time that shit and jump before you hit the no! You'll break every fucking bone in your body. Symptoms are different depending on if you're a male or a female, but if you're showing any of these signs, you're probably having a heart attack. You need to call emergency services and then chew on an aspirin because it's a blood thinner and it could probably save your life. If you're ever cooking and the entire pot just like bursts into flames, don't put water on it. Turn off the stove, put the lid on, or use some baking soda. If you put water on it, you will burn your house down and melt your face off. So if you have a baseball bat that you keep and you think you might ever need to use it as a weapon for like self-defense, try putting a sock on it. That way if anybody ever tries to disarm you, they just rip the sock off. So if you're ever choking and alone and you don't think you have time to go ask somebody for help, one thing that you can do is get yourself into a push-up position. Jump up and then don't catch yourself. If someone's ever riding your ass on the highway, one thing that I personally like to do is clean my windshields. Sometimes it gets them to stop, but the real satisfaction is watching them having to clean their own windshields. Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you ever find yourself falling out of a plane without a parachute and you have the crazy idea that you want to try and survive that shit, avoid water and aim for the trees or just very flat, soft land. And as you're falling, spread out your limbs to slow the fall, but right before you hit the ground, bring your feet together and bend your knees because this is about to hurt like a motherfucker. If you're driving and suddenly there's a deer on the road, it is much better to just hit the deer than to swerve off into a ditch. But if it's a moose, swerve that shit into the ditch. A moose is like a brick wall. This one has actually happened to me before, okay? Anytime somebody comes over to your house, after they leave, make sure you check out your door and window locks because people suck and sometimes they're just trying to make it easier for them to break in later. We're about to test and see how healthy and strong your lungs actually are, okay? So on the count of 3, you're gonna take a big deep breath. 1, 2...
Hold and count the rotations. Congratulations! Your lungs are normal.
Life is beautiful.
Ooh, they're so strong. Almost there. Super lungs. That's cool.
Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios get increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you're ever outside and you notice that your hair starts to float, you're about to be struck by fucking lightning. So what you gotta do is assume the lightning crouch position. You gotta squat, have your head face down, cover your ears, be on the balls of your toes, and have your heels touching. And prepare yourself because it's gonna hurt like a fucking bitch. If someone has a knife on you, scream, yell, act like a crazy person. But if they have a gun on you, speak slowly, calmly, and try not to startle them. And if they ask for your wallet, just give them your fucking wallet. It's not worth your life. Whenever you're driving and you have to make a turn into oncoming traffic, don't turn your wheels until you're ready to go and actually make the turn. Have them pointed straight, because if somebody comes and hits you from behind, they're gonna knock you into traffic and you're gonna die. You know, growing up, I kind of thought that quicksand was gonna be a way more pressing issue in my life. Which is why, even though I've never encountered it myself, I do know how to escape it. First things first, don't panic, you gotta remain calm, take deep breaths, and remember that you're not gonna drown in quicksand. Because the sand is more dense than your body, you're only really gonna go about waist deep. But still, to give yourself more time, you should make yourself lighter by throwing off any jacket or backpack you have. Also, make sure you keep your arms up and out of the sand. Then you're gonna wanna slowly wiggle your legs. This is going to create a pocket for the water to trickle in and loosen the sand around you. Then you're gonna wanna lay down on your back, which is going to help bring your legs to the surface. And then you're gonna wanna start doing the backstroke as if you're swimming in a pool. And if you keep moving slowly but deliberately, you should be able to escape just fine. And if anybody ever finds quicksand, can you let me know, because I kinda wanna try this. baby swim lessons, y'all. This is baby survival 101. I had two mindsets when watching that video, okay? The first one, probably like a lot of you, anxiety. My heart literally stopped twice watching that, and I thought, okay, there's no way I could hold my breath that long. How is the baby gonna hold her breath that long? And then that second mindset was common sense. Like, the kid's only under for like 12 seconds, which isn't that long. And all mammals have this reflex for when our face hits the water, we naturally hold our breath, close our eyes, and our heart rate slows down. Like, just dropping your infant child in the pool looks scary, but all parents should do it because drowning is 100% preventable. Also, let's hear it for that kid. It's fucking killing it. Advice that could potentially save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you ever find yourself being chased by a swarm of bees, try to remember that we don't live in a cartoon, so don't just like jump in the nearest body of water because, well, for a lot of reasons, but mainly the bees are gonna wait for you to get out to sting you. So your best bet is to try and outrun them. After like a mile or so, they're gonna lose interest. If you or someone you know has been stabbed, don't fucking take out the object that has impaled you because that is literally the only thing stopping you from bleeding out. Apply pressure to the area and call an ambulance, but don't fucking take it out. You recently let a stranger into your house, do yourself a favor and check to make sure that all your windows are still locked. Because you never know if somebody's trying to make it easier for them. Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. You might have heard that if you ever encounter a shark in the ocean, that you should punch it in the nose to make it go away and stop it from attacking you. But how hard can you realistically punch something underwater? It is way more effective to pull at the shark's gills and poke it in the eyes to let it know, like, hey, I'm not prey and I'm gonna fight you back. If you ever see a tornado and it looks like it's not moving, that means that it's coming towards you or going away from you. But either way, you should go and find shelter instead of standing outside trying to predict the direction of the windy death spiral. If you're ever in a situation where you have to brace for impact, going completely limp will increase your chances of survival. This is because your body's able to more easily contort without breaking bones. This is also why drunk drivers are more likely to survive the accidents they cause because the alcohol relaxes the muscles in their body versus somebody that tenses up. Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you're ever driving a car and the acceleration gets stuck and you can't stop it, put your car in neutral and let it slow itself down. You shouldn't try to take out the keys until the car has completely stopped moving or else you're gonna lock the steering wheel. If you ever find yourself face to face with a hostile, aggressive dog, don't try to run away from it because I can promise you, it's gonna catch up. What you have to do is keep eye contact with it while backing up and yelling at it. If it starts attacking you, don't waste time trying to pry its mouth off of you. What you should do instead is grab it by its hind legs and lift that bitch into the air. This is how you should stop dog fights too. If you or someone you know is choking, but they can still cough or even talk, then you're not choking, at least not yet. The object is only partially obstructed. You should let them just try to cough it out. If you try to intervene by doing the Heimlich maneuver, yeah, you could force it out, or you could make it fully obstructed, which is a much worse situation to have. But you should learn how to do the Heimlich maneuver on somebody else, and on yourself. Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you want to have a higher chance of surviving a plane crash, what you need to do is sit in a middle seat towards the back of the plane. Don't even bother with first class tickets, okay? It's a guaranteed death. If you ever accidentally drive into water and now your car is sinking, don't bother trying to open up the doors unless it's fully submerged. Not talking like water up to your chin kind of thing, which is very scary. Instead, as soon as the car hits the water, unbuckle your seatbelt, roll down the window, or break it, and escape through there. If somebody is ever threatening your life with a gun or some sort of other weapon, tell them your name, tell them your parents' name, tell them your siblings' name if you have any kids, what your hobbies are, if you have a pet, literally anything that you can think about yourself, tell this person, because the more that this person thinks that you're a person, the less likely they are to kill you.